Alright, what is up guys, my name is SheaNorse and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I am back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be doing my very first game review. Now, of course, I'm not really exactly relying that game review is going to be the best series on my channel, but I thought, hey, you know what, I'm already doing YouTuber reviews, so why the heck not do game review? Now, I'm sorry if there is any background noise. I mean, the problem with my microphone is it picks up like these bumps or bonks, like in my last video, which was my Arsenal video, so I apologize for that. I'm not touching my microphone, I'm not hitting it, that's just the only sound. Also, I also have a little bit of a lip infection, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit stuttery in this video. It's just when I talk it kind of hurts, so I'm very sorry if I'm not able to pronounce my words correctly, and I'm sorry if that ever becomes a problem in this video. But with that being pulled out of the way, today we're going to be reviewing a game called Phantom Forces. Now, a lot of you know what Phantom Forces is. I know that 90% of you watching this video at least know what Phantom Forces is. If you don't know what Phantom Forces is, I'm actually going to be explaining it in the objective category of this video, but before we do explain it, we're actually going to go over the information of Phantom Forces. So, without further ado, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go through all the information connected with this game. Alright, so starting everything off, Phantom Forces is a game that is created by Stylus Studios. Now, Stylus Studios is a developing studio consisted of 3 different members. The creator of the game, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Axis Angle, and Shea, or however you want to say his name. Wow, he has the same name as me except pronounced different. Basically, these 3 different people collaborated together to create what is known as Stylus Studio and developed Phantom Forces and a bunch of other games. Now, coming back to Phantom Forces has over 1 million likes and 790,000 dislikes, which proves that so many people really like this game. The game also currently has about 8,000 people actually playing it at the current moment, which is pretty insane. This game has about 3 million favorites, which is absolutely insane. That is more subscribers than Flamingo, I think. I don't know, maybe Flamingo surpassed 3 million. It has over 61 million or 641 million visits. I'm really saying these things really wrong. I'm very sorry about that. The game was created on August 31st of 2015, and ever since it has been updated on February 3rd in 2019. At the current moment, the game only allows a maximum of 32 players and has a genre of FPS, which basically means first-person shooter. There's no gear allowed in this game, which makes a lot of sense here, and the social links include their Twitter, YouTube page, as well as their own Discord server, which is pretty fantastic. This game does allow VIP servers, which means that you can create your very own VIP servers in Phantom Forces. With that being said, there are no game passes for this game, only dev products, and yeah, that's pretty much all that I need to say for Phantom Forces at the current moment, but those are the stats. Moving forward, we're now going to talk about the objective of the game. Now, Phantom Forces is a game where you are basically given a gun. It is a first-person shooter, which basically means that you have a gun and you're in first person and you shoot people. Because Phantom Forces is actually a multiplayer-based game, it's a first-person shooter multiplayer-based game where you're basically given a task to eliminate other players. There are different game modes such as Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, I think there's also other ones called Kill Confirmed, and so on, the list goes on. Basically, the point of Phantom Forces is to play all these different matches and to level up and gain access to more and more guns. As the more you level up, you actually get more credits, and credits are basically used to purchase guns, and leveling up allows you to have access to some of these guns. For example, some guns require that you get higher levels than others, and some guns are obviously better than others. With these guns, you are also able to choose the different scopes and different configurations according to your own personal interests, and you are able to use these to your advantage in the game. Now, listening to the objective of Phantom Forces, I think that Phantom Forces honestly has one of the most amazing objectives I've ever seen in a game. First of all, it's not boring because you can always level up and you can always get credits. Now, they do allow you to purchase credits, but luckily these credits aren't necessarily overpriced, but at the same time they're not too easy to get either, which kind of encourages players to play the game without having to purchase credits. Another cool thing about Phantom Forces is the fact that you can just keep on playing it over and over again, even though it has the same rounds, same matches. Now, they do have different maps, which we actually will go through the quality of later on, but at the current moment I really do like the way Phantom Forces works. I like how it's all built together to become this awesome game that allows you to do all these cool things, and this is the reason why I do like Phantom Forces objective. Now, if I could recommend anything else, the only thing I could recommend is more types of rounds, which is quite hard to code, which I will go through later as well. Maybe they could implement more guns, which they are already doing, and that's kind of what they're doing. So the objective is fulfilled, and overall I just give it a big thumbs up, and honestly the game isn't boring. After like 2 minutes you actually kind of have fun with it depending on your interests. But either way, with that being said, let's go to the building and coding of this game. Now, building and coding in Roblox Studio is honestly a really important aspect of making a game. Building is the essential to creating a game where you basically build everything for it. So you build the maps, you build pretty much everything for the game. Coding, on the other hand, is basically how the game operates. So if you code a game, basically you're making the game have some kind of objective, some kind of action put into it. In the case of Phantom Forces, the building in Phantom Forces, I would say, is pretty well done. I really like the architect and the amount of effort put into building in Phantom Force. You know, I wouldn't give it like 100,000,000% here. I mean, it's honestly not the best architect you would ever actually build in a game, but you know what? It is enough to make sure that your game is not crashing every single time you play Phantom Forces, which is exactly what the creators are trying to aim for. Phantom Force is a game that already uses a bunch of memory with how well coded their guns are, which I will go through in a second, but basically these buildings need to be pretty well built, but at the same time not too well built, because otherwise they would have a laggy game. Now, with the building put aside, we're now going to focus on the coding. Now, the coding for this game is really advanced as well. Like, the amount of effort that is put into these guns, you know, that is so much effort. I myself have actually tried to code a gun very similar to that of Phantom Forces, and my, it is hard. The amount of lines of code that you actually have to implement into each gun takes a lot of time and effort, and the two coders for this game specifically are Axis Angle and Linzamon, or however the heck you pronounce his name. The thing is, these two people are the people responsible for coding most of these guns and basically pulling the game together. You know what? If I could rate all three of these things here, I'd say that the building for this game is actually a 9 out of 10. I think that the reason why I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 is because honestly, it's not the best building that I've ever seen in Roblox, but hey, it's here to preserve memory, it's not here to crash the game. And secondly, if I could rate the coding for this game, I would instantly give it a 10 out of 10. It's definitely above average from most other Roblox games, and honestly, with the amount of coding implemented in this game, there's hundreds and thousands of code in Phantom Forces. I can just imagine that right there. And lastly, the UI, if I could give a UI the score, I would also give it a 9 out of 10 with the building. You know, it is pretty simplistic, but it does look really good, and it does fit exactly with how the game works. So you know what, with all of these things being established, we are going to go to our final and last category, the audience for this game. Now, if I could pinpoint a very accurate audience for Phantom Forces, I would say that this game actually has an audience of people who have played other FPS games before, but as well as opening this game up for free to other children who also may want to play Phantom Forces. The thing I like about Phantom Forces is that it does have a diversified audience. It has an audience of people who really enjoy playing the game, as well as an audience of people who really want to try out first-person shooter games for the first time. Phantom Forces is again one of the more professional first-person shooter games, and if you really enjoy using first-person shooter games to your advantage, or you're actually good at them, Phantom Forces is one of the games that will provide you with a really amazing experience. And I think that, again, the audience of Phantom Forces is a pretty large one, as they have many place visits. It's very popular. It's been on the front page for a very long time, and because of that, this kind of proves that Phantom Forces audience is a really big one. And again, I really love Phantom Forces even myself. I am an audience member of this game, and I honestly really wanted to talk about it for a long time. Again, that's why I'm making this review here. But again, coming back to the whole thing here, audiences for games are usually really big if they're front page games, and Phantom Forces definitely deserves the credit that they got for making this game. And honestly, it's just a really popular game. A lot of people play it. It's really well made. I love it myself. It's got so much recognition, so much awesomeness, and I hope that this game just continues going on with its updates, just powers the Roblox community even in the future. Either way, concluding all of this, I just wanted to say that Phantom Forces is a game that was made by Stylus Studios. It is a very well-known game that is basically a first-person shooter game. In Phantom Forces, you basically get a gun and you gotta shoot people according to what the gameplay modes are that you have. So you may have things like deathmatch, or you may be competing in a flag. You know, it's pretty interesting what Phantom Forces has implemented in the game. The building in the game is not exactly the best, but you know what? It's perfect for the game's style of minimalism and showcasing itself to be a really fun first-person shooter game. The coding in the game is very advanced compared to most of that of other Roblox games, in my personal opinion. And lastly, the UI in the game is very modern. It has a nice touch to it. It has the same style throughout the entire game, and you know what? I absolutely love that. The audience of the game is pretty large and pretty big, varying from people who would love to play first-person shooter games like Phantom Forces on Roblox to people who just obviously just want to come into the game and just give it a try. I mean, honestly, not everybody playing this game is an expert. There are people in Phantom Forces who play this game just to have fun. And with that being said, Phantom Forces definitely deserves a good rating, and you know what? It deserves that. Definitely a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10 in terms of my point of view. If you don't like the game, you don't like it, but in my personal opinion, which of course this is a review, I am reviewing this myself, that is my opinion. But either way, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Game Review, which is the first episode ever, make sure to give it a like, and if you don't like it, make sure to give it a dislike and comment why you didn't necessarily like it and what I should do to improve it in the future. Either way, it's been awesome working with you guys. I hope that this channel becomes a thing again, because I definitely want to put more effort into my channel here. But again, I'm really excited for this series, and I hope you guys are too. Either way, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace out, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video.